Kevin, how long do ads need to be?
60 seconds.
60 seconds on Blue Apron, no problem. That's right, there's no ad in the teleprompter. My name's Greg Miller and I use Blue Apron. They sponsored the show today. You need to go there. Why do I use Blue Apron? Legitimately because I love it. Look, eyes closed, there's no teleprompter. I am not paid, I'm paid to say this, but I'm not paid to use it and I use it all the time. Blue Apron, of course, ships you pre-packaged ingredients. They send them to you, you open the box up, you take them out, you go to step by step. They give you a little checklist. They come on nice card stock too, which I like. Then you can save them with where I put all my other recipe books. You save them over there. You pull them out when you want to use them. You follow step-by-step instructions. You put it all together. You make an amazing meal in 30, 45 minutes, depending on what exactly they're sending you. Now, again, I use Blue Apron. This is legitimately the Blue Apron app where it's asking me to rate my latest deliveries. Stir-fried beef and broccoli, 5 stars. It was amazing. Now, here's where it gets interesting, right? Mushroom and red rice casserole. Kevin, does that sound like something I'd like?
No.
I liked it. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm giving it 4 stars. Then salmon and honey glazed carrots. Here's the thing. NA didn't do it. NA didn't do it because, like, here's the thing with Blue Apron, of course. You get the food sent to you. If you want to make it into their dish, great. If you don't, freeze it, use it later, whatever. I think I ran out of time that week. I froze it. Now Jen and I got some salmon there ready to go. Now I'm going to read the one part that I have to read. Blue Apron is treating GameOverGreggy listeners to their first dinner a $30 value if you visit blueapron.com/Greggy. So check out this week's menu and get $30 off your first order with free shipping at blueapron.com/Greggy. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Now hold on, Kevin. Let me tell you what else I got coming up here. You can cut the ad if you want. You can do whatever you want. I know people want a show here. There you go. This week, guess what's coming tomorrow? Shrimp and bucatini pasta. Then I got sauteed beef and kale rice. Looking forward to that one. And then kale and ricotta tarts. Who do you think picked that one? Geneviève Saint-Onge did. We'll see how that turns. I don't know. Also, I subscribe. What? Yeah, Geneviève Saint-Onge Miller. I also subscribe to Blue Apron's Wine Club, and I pay out of pocket for that one. Like, I mean, I didn't even get a what is it? blueapron.com/Greggy thing for that. I just like wine, and I like Blue Apron. I bought the cookbook because Cool Greg sent me a link saying they were putting out a cookbook. Blue Apron, send me a shirt. I'm a big fan. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer in white, Nick Scarpino.
You guys are all messing up. You got to wear white. It refracts light.
If I wear white, all you will see are my breasts.
I love
and
your
that's
breasts.
why I don't do it.
Why do you shame your own body? You have beautiful
I'm just letting
breasts.
you know. I know what I look good in.
Beautiful breasts. Beautiful C cup. It's gorgeous.
As you know, I'm very self-conscious of my body, and I don't want to wear T-shirts that draw attention to
I just feel like maybe you should go out on a limb and be like, fuck it, do some stuff without your shirt.
Yeah, you think
just
so?
Fuck it. You know what I mean?
There's this Spider-Man I've seen on the internet recently, shirtless, and he really inspires me.
To get the Spider-Man thing
He is a hero.
It started, baby. This is going live weeks later. Trust me, you've seen a lot of Spider-Man at this point. Funhouse Zone, Bruce.
Hello.
Greene.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here.
It's been an absolute pleasure all day.
It's been hot. I feel bad it's so hot.
Oh, it's not your fault. It's California. California's just hot right now.
You're
That's
just
no big deal.
you're the nicest.
You are.
You know what I mean?
What? Why? I thought
You
Tim was
you-
the nicest.
No.
Cool Tim.
No,
Cool Tim.
Cool Tim's not.
Tim ranks as almost last on my monster list. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay, all right.
Which makes him kind of nice, but he's still a monster.
Still a monster.
I'm second to last. The only person less of a monster than me is Joey.
That's true.
And
You're
just
technically-
he forgot about Cool Greg.
Yeah, you're technically you're third to last.
Cool
'cause
Greg's
Cool Greg would be
an angel.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Cool Greg
insulting
is
to
an
bring
angel.
Cool Greg
He's
up in the
beautiful.
monster talk because you know Cool Greg is the farthest from a monster.
Thank you, Greg.
Did
No
Cool Greg
problem.
introduce himself to you as Cool Greg when he?
No,
He said Greg.
He just said Greg.
Yeah.
Which is
Really?
fine. That's okay.
That is not okay.
But I knew who he was when I said, hi, I'm Bruce, and he said, hi, I'm Greg. I thought to myself, Cool Greg.
Yeah,
Because I knew.
Yeah, everyone knows Cool Greg.
I heard Cool Greg singing Backstreet Boys earlier
was.
today.
What?
And I thought to myself,
That's not very cool.
We're getting to him.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
changing him.
we're
And then I got
definitely
sad.
bringing him not cool anymore.
Yeah,
Good.
I got sad. I was like, we're ruining this perfect boy.
No, you're
He's a
not.
perfect
No,
young
you're not.
boy.
You're making it better.
No, he's so Bruce. You don't spend time. He's cool on another level that I've never been. He knows things about the night that I'll never know about the night.
About the night.
You know, like he just does. Like he like hangs out in like behind trees and shit. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Well,
Hangs out behind
Exactly.
trees.
I don't know, Tim. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
today there was quite the left turn in conversation where there was a mistake in the lunch ordering. Cool Greg's food didn't come.
Oh, yeah.
You said something to
bad.
the effect of, I'm worried about him becoming a latchkey kid. To which I was like, man, what an old person thing to say. And then before I could even formulate the thought that there's like no way Cool Greg will understand this, Cool Greg blurts out, "Latchkey Kids? I read that book in jail." and then we were all done. Tim inhaled the tortilla chip and died.
So hard that I like fucked up and swallowed spit the wrong way and just was choking for the next like 5 minutes. That shit sucked.
He's so
but
good.
good Lord, that's funny.
He's so fucking
He's an
good.
enigma.
Oh,
He is an enigma for
God,
sure.
really
Also, was
is.
he in jail?
He was in jail. He was in jail.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
how
Cool
cool
Greg's
he
lived.
is.
Cool Greg's
That is
lived.
really cool.
Cool Greg and the law, they don't get along, man. They're never gonna see eye to eye, but it's okay. That's what's cool about it.
A Cool Greg
really
in
cool.
jail story.
Yeah, lay it
That I
on
mean,
me.
I can't see a reason why I wouldn't be able to say
You can
this.
ask him real quick.
No, I mean, I think it's fine. There's nothing
Cool
bad
Greg
about
Fellow-
that.
killed the prison guard.
Cool Greg's story in prison. Fellow inmates whipped him with bars of soap.
You might remember a story
That was Full
from
Metal Jacket.
from about 10 years ago where a San Francisco man stole a koala from the zoo to give to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
No.
I
believe
I
you.
mean, it sounds
No, this was
strange
like
enough
all
to be
over the
true,
news because
sure.
it was like, what the fuck?
I believe you.
And yeah, my brother, when he was in jail with the koala guy.
Oh,
I was hoping he was going to be part of the koala scheme or something.
No.
Yeah. Cool Greg like made a hollowed out wheelchair.
And then snuck the koala into the prison? Why would the... See, where does that go? Why?
That's how they got him out of the zoo.
No, yeah,
They put him-
out a wheelchair. They put the koala in the wheelchair
Yeah.
and then rolled him out.
What part of the
Exactly.
wheelchair do you hollow out?
That's where I was going to go a little bit different. Is I was going to say hollowed out wheelchair. They put the koala in the seat and then put like grandmother glasses
Oh,
on it,
yeah.
and a little
Like
granny
Weekend at
wig,
Bernie's,
and
the
then
Weekend
just
at Bernie's.
rolled them out.
He hid in the hollowed out.
I don't know why it was hollowed. They were just worried about it weighing too much.
got it.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I do.
Chlamydia.
Koala's a lot heavier.
They do have
than that.
They have
chlamydia. They do
STDs.
have
Yeah, they
chlamydia.
do.
That is a big
Yeah.
part of it. That is a big part
But
of
that's
it.
a true story. He was like, I remember him telling me, he was like, yeah, and there's this guy, because he told me how everyone else that he was around got in. And he just casually brought up, yeah, this dude stole a koala. And like, my brother wouldn't know that story. But I was like, you were with that guy?
He's famous.
That guy's fucking
He's like
famous.
Let me ask you
Bonnie
this,
and
though.
Clyde. He's Bonnie and Clyde is the koala.
When you think about someone who steals a koala from the zoo,
Yeah.
do you think that person should be punished with jail time? Does that resonate as like, yeah, that's a total terrible offense, or is that kind of like,
should just-
that's kind of fucking
they should
funny,
do
right? Like, should he go to
community-
jail for that?
Well, I mean, I'm
For his
pretty
girlfriend,
sure
like, isn't that adorable?
There's a couple things here.
It's
One,
cute, sure.
It's not like he's trying to
STDs.
steal a fucking
Yeah, STDs.
tiger.
But
and,
you're
like,
not-
unleash it on
I'm
people.
pretty sure it's like extinct or like gonna be extinct. It's on some list. I guarantee it.
There's
Koalas are
3
not on a
billion
list.
I'm not sure if they are. You're just not
Koala's
supposed to,
on a list.
You're not supposed to fuck with them. I know that.
They're the raccoons
Don't
of
fuck with them.
Australia.
Can you get Kevin? Can I get chlamydia from a koala?
Yes.
100%.
If you touch one, yes. 100%.
Really?
You have to let it. You have to touch it
It's
in
anal.
its pink part, though.
I don't think so. I think it's just. I think it's just all over. You talking about
Oh, it's gonna be a show. What's up, everybody? If you didn't know, you're watching the GameOverGreggy
Sorry,
show
Bruce.
each and every week.
although
4.
not listed as endangered.
Sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table, each bring a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. How early, Nick?
You could be watching it right now with us, like so many people are out there in the chat. Hey guys.
You could also watch it, of course, on Friday on patreon.com/kindafunny, where we put it up as a video and an MP3 for people supporting early. But if you have no bucks to toss our way, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where you can get the show broken up topic by topic, day by day, until it goes live. It's one big MP3 and video.
There it is.
We are now reading the story here by Jackson
The Arrest of
Van
Youth.
der Becken.
Stolen koala caper ends with the rest of you.
That was the one that Cool Greg knew.
Yeah, he knew that. He knew that.
Now,
youth.
did the guy who stole this koala get chlamydia from it?
Go down, Kevin.
Do you think that
let's see what
person
this-
that's holding the koala has chlamydia?
He wore a condom when he stole the koala. All right. I'm telling you, man, if you could just domesticate a koala, you'd be making money. You'd be making some bank.
Oh yeah, if you could sell the koala.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's domesticatable though, is it?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
I mean,
They sleep
that's-
for like 14 hours a day.
That's
It's
what they
like
said
the
about wiener dogs.
raccoon. Or are sloths domesticatable? Can you domesticate a sloth? Because I want a pet sloth.
probably.
Right? What the fuck are they
Why
gonna do?
couldn't you?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's gonna get angry and
hang out on
slowly try
Ellens
to
all the
scratch
time.
you. What's that?
Yeah.
They hang out on Ellen.
Yeah.
Ellen always has.
I'm bitter
sloths.
because Alexis went to Costa Rica and she
hang out
went to
with
the
the
sloth
sloths?
preserve, and I went to Costa Rica and I didn't get to go because my wife was like, "It's too far," and I would rather sit by a pool.
We went to Australia, and there was koalas there, but we didn't get to go see them.
We did.
You guys did.
We,
Are they-
I went
but
and
then
took
didn't you
pictures.
miss out on seeing something? There was some animal that you guys didn't get to hang out with.
Kangaroo?
I mean, well, we didn't see any kangaroos other than in the zoo. So
Yeah.
we saw kangaroos. There was a giant crocodile we saw.
Oh, fuck,
It
that's
was
scary.
fucking awesome.
Those things
But-
are scary.
And like I took a picture next to the koala. Lawrence was right next to them.
Yeah.
I don't
He's not
think-
afraid of chlamydia.
I don't think he got it. I think he may have already had it.
Can we call
Yeah.
Lawrence right now and see if he has ever had chlamydia
Call
and
him,
if is he communicable?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Let's find
I
out.
feel like somebody would have known that by now.
I feel like Lawrence would probably know, right? Doesn't it hurt? Doesn't
No.
it burn
Lawrence
or
would tell us.
something?
He wouldn't say, "Hey guys, I have chlamydia." Hold on. Let's find out.
Okay.
I mean, like with the
see.
kind of content you guys make, he might. Bring it right up to the microphone. You got it. Yeah. Yeah. Check it up. Is that a
Don't show his
pixel?
phone number though.
Show the phone number. Who cares? The kids are good. I'll give out
He
Tim's
may
number
not
right
pick
now.
up because he may be recording
415.
right now.
Okay.
Oh, they
You-
interrupted our
you-
recording,
you-
but we can't interrupt their recording.
Leave a message and tell him that Nick from Kind of Funny wants to know if he has now, currently, or has ever had chlamydia.
You got it.
And if he has, follow-up question, did he get it from a koala bear?
Done. I can ask all those questions.
Hi, this is the number for Lawrence Sontag. I'm sorry I couldn't answer your call, but I will
Sontag,
probably
huh?
leave a message soon and get back to
Wouldn't
you.
have guessed
So
that.
Please leave a
Sontag.
message. Thank you.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Lawrence Sontag. Hey, Lawrence, this is Bruce. I'm recording right now with Nick, Tim, Greg over at Kind of Funny, and Nick had a question about chlamydia. He wanted to see if you had chlamydia, and if you do, did you get it from the koala
from koala bear.
in Australia? What?
Yeah. Yep. You got it.
Did I
Nailed
get it? Okay.
Yeah, you did. Thanks,
Please call
Bruce.
us back at your earliest convenience, maybe in the next hour or so, ideally, so that we can find out. Thank you. Bye. Okay.
Thanks, Bruce.
Nailed it. That's some
Appreciate
good
that.
action. We got it done there. That's how you get things done over here.
And then if he doesn't call back, we're just going to say yes. He does.
Okay. Okay. I think that's
Heard it
fair. I
here
think that's a
first.
safe assumption.
My topic.
Yeah.
God damn. Nick Scarpino.
Why, when you did that, did I think of Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Because there's a lot of flaming hot Cheetos in the house
you
right
have some
now.
today? Is
no,
your breath?
No. I had a quesadilla.
Jason
Oh,
shit.
there you go. Kevin's eating some over there.
I got away from it. Thanks, Kev.
Monchichi over there is into him. Our own office koala bear.
Koala.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him. He's got chlamydia.
That's why we call him the koala. Not based on looks at all, based
Kevin
on the
doesn't
What's
get
chlamydia.
Cool Greg
chlamydia, he
wearing
gives
right
it.
now?
Cool Greg is so hot now, he is just into
my
it.
God.
Get the fuck over here.
Over here with that.
Be on camera. Cool Greg.
I don't want to be.
Cool Greg, get over here.
So
you
cool.
you like this job, you show us that body.
Oh, shit. Man, he is really cool.
See, you look cool though. Why would you do that? Yeah.
This is given to us by a guest.
Yeah.
Justin. Mm-hmm. Devin, sorry.
Justin was the one before.
And Sean.
Yeah.
After.
You know, I love that he still has the tag on the back. That's cool. Hey, Greg, you just missed it. I told the story about your koala stealing friend.
They weren't friends.
They weren't friends.
weren't
They were
friends.
acquaintances.
They were not friends. They were both
Jailhouse
fellow
acquaintances. Jailhouse acquaintances.
It's such a weird word, jail.
I'd like to think that I'm Cool Greg's friend at this point.
I mean, I believe that, right?
He said
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I don't know because I don't presume that
He comes
I'm cool
to your-
enough to hang with.
You hang with him then.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't like he hangs with me. Like I don't know if I get to hang with him. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
he'll come to my thing,
Right,
be like,
right.
"I've graced you with my presence."
Right.
He'll look around, and then poof, he's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Behind the
It's great.
trees, apparently.
No,
He
yeah,
goes
that's
into
right.
the night, Tim. You don't hang out with your brother. You don't understand. I'm like, where does he? I get worried about him. I was like, you want to ride home, dude? Can I take you home? Is it cool? He's like, nah, man, I'm good. Poof.
Just gone.
Oh, he has the names for everyone. Like the,
Cool Greg says, you know how you have the names for this busiest, this,
Yeah.
last, yeah. He doesn't understand the ages now.
the mascot of Market Street.
Oh yeah.
You
I
are
call,
the
I call him the
mascot
mascot
of
of
Market
Market
Street.
Street.
That's
Yeah, he walks
awesome.
around Market
That's
Street
really
a lot.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it is. My topic's goddamn.
Yeah. What about it?
This is one that's been brewing for a while.
Yeah.
However, we've recorded so many shows, I'm not sure if it's brewed live yet or not or whatever. This is the thrust of it. Bruce, I'll give you the recap here.
Good term.
We talk on the show a lot about learn from our mistakes. And I always bring up the fact that when I was young and stupid, I would call things I didn't like gay. Right?
Oh, yeah,
I
right.
Throw it
And
around.
I think we all did, and that was stupid. That was dumb.
Exactly.
I'm not,
It's-
you know what? I'm not going to speak for everybody, but it was stupid.
Sure. Yeah, but it was that thing of, I get to college, I meet a gay person, and who's a friend. He's like,
Maybe don't
what
do
do you
that.
really mean?
Yeah,
Why are you
maybe
saying
don't
that?
do that.
It didn't come at me confrontationally, but did. And so then, of course, as you know, making content on the internet now, there's all sorts of words we say or don't say. The other day on Kind of Funny Games Daily, a person wrote in, and their question was about if South Park was offensive to Muslims or Arabs, and based on jokes and all these things. I'm reading the question, and it's one of those, I pick the question, I screen the questions, but I'm like, oh, gloss over, this is a good one, put it in the thing. When I got to, it was actually Arab/Muslim, and I read it, and I went, Arab. And like no one in the room corrected me, and I went on. I was like, okay, cool. And it wasn't until bed that night where I was like, I thought that was a derogatory term, and I was sitting there thinking about it. And I was
it's
like,
Arab.
Arab. I was supposed to say Arab.
Arab.
It is a derogatory term. I fucked that up. And only like one or two people. Granted, we're playing to our best friends here. Wrote in like, I know you don't mean it. This is what you mean. Blah blah blah. We talk a lot though on these shows a lot. words matter. Empathy. You know what I mean? And how it is hard for us to make content and then be funny, but you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want to take a joke too far. And
joke around, but
right,
you know, our intent is never to insult people or make people feel bad.
And there's a subreddit right now, or thread right now of like, it's kind of funny being too PC these days or whatever. And it's because, of course, all of a sudden me fucking wanting to talk about PlayStation 2, I got to talk about sexual harassment every other day and all this different stuff. And I'm trying to balance all these new things and everything else. However,
These new things. New things for us to talk about.
I'm pretty... Andy, can I get a fact check? Sexual harassment just around the last few weeks, right?
Where did Andy come from?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. No, Andy's just chilling out by the boards there. He's right back
I have a
into it.
picture of it. It's just his nose. It's so cute.
However, as we talk about these words, as I will say something and then dial it back on the show, like, well, that came off wrong. I didn't mean to offend anybody, blah, 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 blah. A kid hit me up a few weeks ago now and was like, I find it interesting that you're worried about this word, worried about offending this person, but you still say God damn all the time. And I thought that's a very interesting thing I'd like to address as a topic. Because I feel like, as with anything, Kind of Funny, since the day we started Kind of Funny, we've talked about it, like, there's a line. We're not trying to be mainstream for everybody. We're not trying to never offend someone. And we're not trying to like go for you. We want to piss you off. We're poking the sharp stick, right? But there's certain people that have different thresholds and different checkboxes in this. And for me, goddamn is kind of a non-starter, but I don't know if that's stubborn of me or stupid. Because for me, when I say God damn it, when I go, oh, man, fuck this, Jesus, that stuff, at no point am I saying deity, God,
Well, you're
smite this thing.
You're not intending to take the Lord's name in vain, right?
Exactly.
You're not saying, when you say God damn it, it's not like we're saying, hey, that's a hidden jab against Catholicism or Christianity, right? I'm not saying God damn it so that there's people in the room that believe in organized religion. I'm like, fuck you people who believe in organized religion. That's not the point. It's just a parlance. It's just a term that people say. It's an exclamation that you put on something. Also, you put those two words together, in my opinion. I understand that it's a term that evokes a certain emotion in people who are religious, but it's not. Those two words together are not bad words together. God damning something is not bad. It's in the Bible, for Christ's sake. Right. So, like, I don't understand. Well, and that's another term, right? For Christ's sake. People go, oh, you can't say for Christ's sake. I'm like, why? It's not. It's not like I'm saying like Christ's dick or something like that. Like if I were to say that over and over again, that would be me probably trying to fuck with people out there that believe in organized religion. But it's not. I think this is a prime example of people choosing to be angry about something. That's my personal opinion. As a person who grew up Catholic,
me too,
for a very long time, people go, "You shouldn't say goddamn," and I'm thinking, I look at those people and go, "You don't have anything to complain about today, so you're getting angry."
Well, my thing about it is this: I grew up Catholic as well, and my takeaway from it is the fact of, you know, growing up Catholic, going to Catholic school for kindergarten through senior year of high school, right? Like I left there so sure of what my interpretation of God was and is to this day. It still is, right? Of like, so Lawrence is calling to say if he has chlamydia or not.
Hold on
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Let's
pause this very this.
Lawrence, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Did you get the message?
I did. Or rather, I read the Google translated version of the message. I'm a busy guy, Bruce. I don't have time to listen to messages.
Okay, well, what's the answer?
Sadly inconclusive.
Inconclusive.
I have noticed an odor. There's a definite odor.
Kevin, can we Google if chlamydia has an odor?
All right, Kevin's gonna Google the symptoms to see if you do have it or not.
Odor. I don't think that's one of them.
It might be odor.
Ball odor.
It might be like that you smell almonds all the time or something like that. So
That means you're dying.
yeah. So
Here we go. Chlamydia. This is the CDC.
What the fuck is that top image?
the symptoms of chlamydia are: how is chlamydia spread? Can I reduce my risk? Am I at risk? Where?
Keep scrolling.
Control F odor.
How do I know if I have?
How do I know if I have chlamydia?
Abnormal vaginal discharge? Do you have that?
I mean, I guess I haven't really checked.
Maybe a burning sensation. A burning sensation when urinating.
Doesn't pee?
You know
Pee
what,
always
that
kind of
happens
burns.
Sometimes. I want to say like.
You're not doing
I
right.
want to say like once every 2 months, I take just a really acidic piss. Like it hurts.
Ooh, that's not good. What about,
Any rectal pain?
Yeah, rectal pain.
No, that's pretty squeaky clean.
Okay, all right. And then, swelling in one or both testicles.
This is less common.
Does swelling lead to ball smell? In and around the ball?
I think you just need a shower. You just need to take a shower.
shower.
Hydrate better and shower would be my diagnosis here.
Yeah.
Chlamydia free,
Kevin,
Lawrence.
Chlamydia free.
Wait,
Thanks,
wait,
Lawrence.
Thanks,
There you
Lawrence. We appreciate it.
No, it's done. It's done now.
Good old chlamydia free.
All right, bye, buddy.
Thanks, Lawrence.
I left with my own interpretation of God and religion and everything else, right? And like that, and we talk about it here on the show every so often or whatever, but I just don't think that God's watching us marking down our bad deeds. I think if you're a good person, you're good-hearted, your reward for that, and it's a good thing. I think it's the fact of when, because I talk about, okay, don't that's so gay, you know what I mean? Don't be a fag, like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I talk about that story all the time, not to say those words to shock people, but to say, I used to say those before somebody was like, that hurts my feelings as a gay person, please don't say that. And you're like, oh my God, I never thought about it.
You evolved.
So then I've had people, and best friends like yourself, come up and be like, well, the goddamn thing is similar to me. When in reality, I don't think it is. Whereas I feel like the goddamn is based on a belief, right? We can all come around that, screaming at somebody you're a fag, or and saying it in a jovial sense
to a person versus
exactly, and like, but goddamn is like you're taking your personal beliefs and putting them on me, right? And I guess that there's an argument to be made here, of course, that a lot of people do still think gay's wrong and that these people are abominations or something. And so me saying that we're not allowed to do that, don't say that, that's a bad word for that, I guess they would say is me putting my belief on them. But I don't feel they're the same.
Me personally, the way I look at it is because I was brought up the same way as you guys, Catholic Christian school, the whole deal. I just don't say that. I try not to say goddamn. I try not to say Jesus. I try not to say whatever, that kind of stuff, because that's for me something I'm not going to say. I can see how people are offended, but there are a couple of things here with like the PewDiePie saying the N-word, that whole deal. We did a podcast on that, and there are a few things that you kind of can't cross a line with, and that's one of them. That was one of them where all of us were just like, like maybe this is why he said it, whatever. Regardless, we're never going to say that because we know that it offends people. And I don't know if we've gotten there with those like taking the Lord's name in vain and stuff like that. But for me, I just do my best to try and set an example, and not say any of those words, and get better at it, like gay or whatever else, because I want to make sure that I'm not saying those in the wrong context. Comedy is an entirely different thing. It's like in a podcast setting, I think that's kind of the right setting to not say those words, sort of tone it down.
Sure.
But like Lucy Kay or George Carlin have done comedy routines with the N-word and that kind of stuff, and they've been able to pull it off. It's all about context. It's always about context.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, for me, it boils down to intent as well, right? When I say the word goddamn it, again, to reiterate this, I'm not, when you say the word fag, when you call someone a fag, right, you're disparaging a group of people. You're saying I'm equating you to something that I view in my brain as being lesser because you're a fag, right? That's why that word is terrible. That's why that word people should try not to use that word. If I say the word goddamn, you might be offended to it, but I'm not trying to say there's no intent of insulting anyone. I'm not insulting God. I'm not trying to insult anything.
I think that's you're right. I do think that's a semantics thing though, because it's like you're still equating it in a negative way where you're never saying goddamn or Jesus Christ or any of that in a good way. Like it's only when it's talking about.
Not true. Sometimes I say I do say it in a good way. Sometimes it is an exclamation of something. That's awesome.
True.
Oh, that's
true.
God,
that's
like,
damn. Right? How many times you said that? Right? There's some things that are goddamn worthy. For sure.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it gets muddied, right? Because I feel like back to when I was a kid, when I was like, man, that episode of Raw was so gay. Like I wasn't meaning it to be. I don't mean homosexual. I just mean it's bad. I just mean I'm using it as a synonym for bad or stupid or whatever.
There's a lot of gray here.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I think it's interesting to talk about, because I mean I know you're watching these shows, you're paying attention to us. I'm not doing it to get a rise out of anyone who believes in God. I think it's a great word. I think, you know what I mean? It does punctuate things so well, and the same thing with Jesus and all this.
Yeah, and also, I mean, for me personally, like I have some issues with the Catholic Church. I have some issues with organized religion, and so I don't like that that's a term I can't say. I don't like that's something that I grew up going to Catholic school and I was told these things, and to me it represents, and maybe I'm having an overly emotional reaction to it, it represents all the things that I think are wrong with the church, right? You can't say these words, God and damn together. Are you fucking kidding me? Why not, right? Why not? Like these are these built-in control mechanisms that I had an issue with growing up, which is why I left, which is why I don't go to church anymore. That to me represents everything that is like everything that builds up to this monumental thing that we're all supposed to like bow down in front of, and I just don't buy that. I don't buy there's a God out there going like, well, you can't say God damn every once in a while. You can't say Jesus like that. It's my son, right? Like, I'm sorry, I don't buy that.
And I guess that's the problem for me, is the fact that, like, to what you're talking about, and like me leaving Catholicism, is just the fact of just like, yeah, okay, well, they don't like gay people and they won't let women be priests, and I don't agree on this social issue. That, you know what I mean? Where it's like, this is just another one where I'm like, oh, that's not how I feel God would care about it. And so then that again now is me saying goddamn and using it is me again exerting my beliefs in that this realm, right? In the same way you saying, well, I get offended when you say goddamn is you asserting that your beliefs. But I feel like we get to this point now where it's like, it's not is clear cut anymore for me as when I was walking around saying gay.
Absolutely.
And somebody finally was like, don't do that. I'm like, oh, that's a great point. Whereas right now I feel like we both have pretty good points as to why you don't agree with me, but I agree with my, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, but the question
that's
becomes,
the line now.
The question becomes, is this going to be another word that it just becomes so overly stigmatized that people go, well, fine, I'm just not going to say it, right? And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing either.
But I mean, my thing is, I think that's where the discussion lies, where it's like, I think that is overall a good thing if it's because we end up stop saying it because it is upsetting groups of people based on who they are and based on those type of things. If it's just like, oh, you can't say whatever word because of trigger culture.
Somewhere on that, right?
Yeah,
because there's so many
my thing is,
outrageous
everyone has the
things
freedom
out there.
of speech. They can say whatever they want. It's like, it's up to you to be offended and upset about things, including being offended about being offended. It's such a stupid game when you can say any word you want. You just need to be able to own it. And when people walk up to you and say, this offends me, you need to be able to look them in the eye and say, that's cool, I respect that, but I'm still going to say it.
And see, that's the weird thing for me to be on this side of the argument, where I feel like when we talk about stuff on Games Daily with like sexual harassment stuff recently, or just any of the shows we're talking about, I preach empathy. And I do say, put yourself in that shoe and blah, blah. And on this issue, I don't feel like I can do it. I put myself in your shoes and I'm just like, well, I don't agree with so many other parts of this that it makes me hard to agree with you on this. But I don't ever want to offend somebody. I don't want that to be the thing that pushes people away from our content, and hopefully it isn't. I'm sure there's my thing is, if you're like, I'm offended by goddamn, maybe the chlamydia call also pushed you away. You know what I mean? Like, you're in a different.
I'm sure there's someone out there that had chlamydia at one point that was like, well, guys, that's not that funny to make fun of chlamydia, but we're still gonna fucking do it anyway because the word itself is funny. Also, it's
the
just
word
in my
itself is funny.
vision right there.
Our little chlamydia sign up there.
Down.
Well, no, it's a memory. It's a memory up there.
I feel like people get offended by swear words, and that doesn't stop us because we believe that it's totally okay to say that. And there's a group of people out there that think that that's not okay. And it's on us to be responsible and to own our actions and to decide this is the person that I want to be and this is how I'm going to stand up for what I believe in and for my freedom of speech and all of that.
Yeah.
When it comes to me with goddamn, I say it all the time. I say Jesus all the time. I say fuck all the time. I say a lot of things that at the end of the day, I know upset people. And is it stuff that I need to say? No. But in my life, I did not grow up religious. I have always been anti-religion. I've never understood it. I support people being religious. Cool, that's great. San Francisco bubble, say whatever the fuck you want. What it comes down to is it wasn't until someone that is a close friend of mine was like, hey, why are you saying goddamn? Like, do you need to say that? Do you need to say...
Much like my friend with the gay.
Jesus Christ. It's like... It's not like it's breaking my life to hear you say it. It's just like, could you say something else to mean the same thing that wouldn't, like, that just makes you sound better? Like, it's the type of thing where when you're having a conversation with someone and then they immediately, when they get triggered by the things, they're not listening to what you're saying anymore.
Well, that's and I appreciate that it's a nuanced argument, but on some level, at some point, people are just being too overly sensitive to
that's absolutely true. But my thing is, if they're being overly sensitive, I need to take that in and be like, how sensitive do I need to treat this? I haven't stopped saying it, but I am aware of it. When I do say it, I'm like, oh, cool. I need to be aware that.
But see, I'm only aware of it because I'm afraid someone's going to get super offended and give me shit for it, and then it's going to be something I have to deal with, right?
All right, so
it's not making me a better person. It's just making us all fucking like way more afraid to say anything, and that's the shittiest thing.
Well, at Funhouse, no, that's fine. At Funhouse, I interrupted you. We try and sort of adopt the South Park method of thinking, which is offend everyone. Yeah. Because at that point, if you're going to offend everyone. If somebody complains like you offended me, it's every episode. Somebody new is offended. Sure. You can go, look, we're making comedy. It's going to offend everyone at some point. That's what we do. That's the way we fly.
Either it's all okay to make fun of or nothing.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, like in this context, podcast context, things are different. Like you're talking with each other, like kind of human being to human being in a conversation. That's a totally different context versus a comedy video that you're making. Like, and we try to draw a line there. We try to say, okay, this is a comedy video. This is something that's supposed to make you laugh. And ideally, the rules then at that point are we're just offending everyone because we want to give equal treatment to
well,
everyone.
I love that, but I like that like, and part of me loves that because obviously I love comedy. But the power of comedy is that it does push boundaries, right?
Absolutely,
You're
yes.
supposed to redefine those boundaries in your brain every time you hear a joke, and it makes you think, and that's what the beauty of comedy is. That's different though than someone stubbing their toe and going, "God damn it," and then having someone go, "Well, you really shouldn't say things like that." I mean,
No,
that's like, come on,
It is.
dude. How far is too far?
Right. Well,
What's the next? If I say, "Oh man," and someone give me shit, I was like, "Well, you should say, "Oh, you man,"
Yeah.
or
Right.
just "Aw."
No, I
like,
know.
come on, people.
It's it's ever changing in the world we live in.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it comes to real life and it comes to like these sorts of settings, especially making content. So that's why I try to couch it in the context of comedy first.
Sure.
If we're making comedy, then it's a little different. Rules are a little different.
But do you feel like that might be a bit of a cop out though? Do you feel like, because I see this all the time, I go to a lot of comedy clubs now, and I'm like, I do wonder where that line is on stage.
Sure.
Because
There is
I'm
a
like,
line.
there is, and
100%
but it's an
there
ever moving line, and it really does depend on how funny you are and how much,
Yes.
and
Is
how
there a
much the
line, though?
audience. But there
'Cause I
is-
feel like there's no
there
line.
isn't until there is.
Yeah,
right? A perfect
it's-
example is I went to the Punchline the other day, and they were talking about a famous comedian that was there the night prior who had called 2 lesbian girls in the audience a dyke, and one of those girls lost her shit on him. And it was a bad situation. The bouncers had to come over and like take him out, and it was totally bad. And on that level, I'm like, who's right in this, right? Obviously, those people came into a comedy club, so they're willingly subjecting themselves to that. But I don't know, right? It's an
to
interesting
me, I
argument.
think it's clear. It's like when you're in a comedy club, you're paying for someone to stand on stage and say whatever the fuck they're going to say.
I would argue that too.
If
I would
you
argue
get
that too. It's
violence,
performance, sure.
that's
you were
the
in the
line.
wrong.
You
You're in the
crossed the line.
I totally agree with you. But like Nick's saying, we have to be careful when we're making content and stuff like that. You got to be, because there is always a line with someone, and it's like,
Yeah.
and Michael Richards is another good example of when he sort of like.
Was it a good example? Because he like that wasn't even comedy, right? He was just like raging.
But it was the context of comedy. See, so like he wasn't telling a joke. He's just screaming a word, right? And that's when it became no longer comedy. He's just insulting people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I
That's
guess
a good point.
that might be the point of like, I don't know. I wasn't there for this particular comedian, but I don't know. There is a line someplace, and you can see it when comedians go from, hey, this is a bit I'm doing, hey, I'm playing along, hey, I'm fucking with you because everyone else is enjoying it, to I'm gonna spit some hate and venom at you right now. And I don't know if I can define that. I don't know if that, I mean, I don't know if you should define that in a comedy club setting specifically, but I don't know. I mean, there are times where I'm like, well, it's fucking nasty. I'm glad that wasn't directed at me, because I don't know how I'd react to that. Like, you know me, I don't react so well to things that I deem are not completely appropriate. Having said that, I say horrible shit on stage. So like, I can't, it's a double standard for me. I can't go to a comedy club and be like, there are some lines for me. Everything has to be everything has to be open for me, you know? And it's just, but it's just weird.
It's really
It is.
tough. There's a lot of gray
and I do see people's understanding. Like, you're brought up, bring it back to the topic. I see the other side of it. I do understand that, and I don't want to come off culturally insensitive or insensitive to religion, because again, I was raised Catholic. My parents don't say "God damn it." They don't say Jesus. They don't say things like that. It is for them a sign of respect. I get that. But I just don't believe in that. So why do I need to respect? Why do I need to show that same sign of respect for something that I just don't believe in? Right? Why? And,
I get it. That's the
where the
murky
nuance
part,
already
right?
comes.
Yeah.
Right? You're telling me that I can't do something, and I'm telling you I can, and that's maybe just an agree to disagree thing. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, like
I
this
don't
is
like having people come and say like, and you know.
this is the boiling it down to like a very not apples and oranges argument, or not argument, but like example, right? Of like what you're talking about is how you're raised, right? And it's similar to like wearing shoes in the house. And like when we would wear shoes at the old place in the house in videos, so many people would always be in the comments like, you're disgusting. Why would you do that? I would never let you do it. And it's like, well, fuck you. It's not your house and you don't have to worry about it. You know? And like, I know that's not the same, but it is in a way, right? If it's how you're raised, and then you get there, and then it's trying to take your belief structure, as I am as well, and put it into somebody else's world. And that's where it gets so fucked up.
Yeah.
Where I feel like there are clear-cut right and wrongs, but then I don't think goddamn is one of them.
It is a thing that, and again, I will fully admit to anyone watching this right now or listening or ready to fucking fire off comments that I have probably an unfair bias against religion, because we've had topics on this before, and I've shared past experiences. I'm not a fan of it at all. So I'll say I'm probably starting this conversation at about a 30% of emotional level as opposed to 0, which is unfair for a lot of people. But I just feel like that's one of those things where it's an example of a religion trying to censor other people, and I don't like that. And I think there is a nuanced line, and there is a difference between saying like this is hate speech versus, hey, you're just not allowed to say this because because
It offends me.
It offends me, or not even, it's against my religious practice. I'm like, well, then we're gonna have a problem here because it's not. You're trying to project that shit on me, and you're trying to censor me, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
My whole thing, it all comes down to, like every relationship in life, communication. And if you're not getting your point across to somebody because they're blanking out because you said something, you're not doing your best job of communicating to them. And does that mean that it's your responsibility to know all this? But no, then stop trying to talk.
It's just interesting, right?
They're not going to listen.
Where your point was like, your friend was like, oh, well, goddamn it, can you say something else, right? Or Jesus, like, Jesus is my replacement for fuck for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing where it's like, I'm more gun shy about cursing in front. I think that makes you sound stupid.
Yeah, I was like,
and
what do you want to say, motherfucker? How
and that's
about
the
that
other
one?
interesting thing that I find about this. Now, granted, again, like I said, kindergarten through senior year parochial school, so clearly people, Jesus and goddams, they're paying attention to them. I'm surprised it doesn't come up more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it's once every year and a half, 2-3 years, someone will message me about this, and it's been just recent based on the conversations we're having. But again, it was one person who did that.
I've seen a lot of it recently because of the conversations we've been happening, and I think that it's because we've had, as a group, I think, such a united front in the things that we're talking about, that there is a way more right and wrong, whereas with this, it's more like...
There's a gray area.
Yeah, it's
totally
gray.
Yeah.
And it's like, and my friend, when he told me this, like, I was like laughing at him. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, that's so stupid. And it's one of those things, it hasn't changed what I do. I just think about it. There's times when I'm tweeting something out and I type it out and the goddamn's in it, and I'm like, I can just say something else and that will get a better response. And that's the point.
Yeah.
See, and that's the funny thing is I do that too for my tweets, where I'll write goddamn, and I'm like, you know what? That's gonna, I guess that there I'm looking at as content. You know what I mean? Of like, that's gonna hurt this piece of content that I'm trying to share with as many
but it's
people
only
as
gonna hurt that
possible.
because you know it's an inflammatory term towards other people, so you're censoring yourself, and I get that, and that's what you do, right? I don't.
You would do that with other words too.
Well, I have a weird thing about tweeting where I don't like doing any swear words in tweets, and I don't know why that is, but I feel like
Oh, because it
that's the
totally
point.
it takes the kneecaps out of retweets.
Well, I guess that might be.
It's offending people, and it's
Well,
like
no,
when
yeah.
you're trying to get your message out to people, you want your message to go to as many
There
people
are
as
some
possible.
times that
listen.
I do it. There are some times, but
too.
to me, it's like writing a joke,
Contextual.
right? Like if you can write a joke and you phrase it a certain way, it has the most impact on it, right? But that's different than me saying like without thinking, God damn it, because that's the term I use to express that level of emotion, right? And then having someone be like, well, can't you use something else? I'm like, well, no. I mean, that's the term that I choose to use to express that. So no, that's the one I'm going to choose, right? I don't know. I've never had. I don't hang out with a lot of people who are heavily into religion, so I don't know. Maybe that's by choice.
It's just a weird conundrum, gray area to wrestle with. I feel, you know what I mean?
is.
Because like,
Very
yeah, we
much so.
could. It's that thing of like, well, what if we did this show, GameOverGreggy show, and we didn't curse and we didn't use goddamn or whatever, right? And it would be like, I have definitely seen people write it way more than the goddamn it. The people who write it are like, hey, can you guys not curse as much? Because I'm trying to listen. I'd love to listen in the car with my kids. I'm like, we're still going to talk about assholes and vaginas and stuff. So that doesn't make any sense. That
Let
doesn't
your
help
kids
you.
listen to this. This is the problem.
Don't listen to them. Let them all listen to it.
Yeah,
Get their own YouTube
but
accounts.
This is the thing that concerns, I think, a lot of people, and it's definitely been a discussion that's been happening over the last few years, right? Which is that line of what is acceptable to say keeps getting pushed back a little bit and a little bit, and some of that's good and some of that's progress. But where we have to define what's good for us. I like swearing. I like talking about adult content. I like raunchiness.
Yeah.
That's the podcast that I want to be a part of.
Exactly.
If you don't want to listen to that.
But
Well,
that's
This is
the
not
thing,
a
though. It's
podcast
like
for you.
then we decide that. It's all about everyone deciding what they're okay with and standing by it and doing
Sure.
it. I
Sure,
think
but
that's
But it's getting dumb. It's getting boiled down to more and more vanilla, and it's
see.
it's concerning.
I think that is such a like just empty argument, because it's like that just shows that the people on the other side aren't down to stand up for what they are doing. Like when it comes to like when I look at the Reddit thread about people talking about us being too politically correct or whatever, it's like, dude, we're standing up for what we believe in.
Right.
If you don't agree with me, don't agree with me. I'm telling you, I'm standing. People are like, oh, they're so sensitive and they're just like doing everything they're toning things down and dumbing. No, we're not. This is what I believe.
Yeah.
Like if you don't take it, either leave or understand that we believe different things.
Yeah, I guess for me it boils down to like, and this is something I have to ask myself, is I'm like, am I toning it down because that's what I believe in? Am I toning it down because that's the right thing to do? Or am I toning it down because I'm scared that there's going to be a wave of people that I can't deal with on Twitter because that's what happens, right? And that's something that's where I think the concern comes from me, because I'm like, I don't want to say something that I'm joking around with and then have a wave of people come at me and then me have to back away. Not because I think you guys have convinced me that I'm wrong, but because you're there's an outrage culture that's happening out there, and they're fucking that. If that turns on you, you're fucked. You're screwed, right? So I think that's where the concern happens. Is this is not a hill worth dying on, but there will be one day. And if we don't monitor where that line is, how what will be okay to say? Nothing. We'll have to talk in weird blank terms.
So overly dramatic, and I think that's what the problem lies.
But that's the thing. Is it overly dramatic?
Let's look at
big
the things
changes
that we
like
can't
that
say.
don't happen all at once, right? They happen over the span of 10 years, and if you're not paying attention to it, all of a sudden you turn around and you're like, well, there's not much we can talk about these days.
But
folks.
I mean, let's
talk about the
literally
weather.
look at the next 100 years, and like on the pace that we're going, as the words that we can't say. Again, you can say whatever you want. It's just up to how people are gonna take it. So I just think that it's people are outraged at outrage culture. Like there's so much here that's so stupid. It's like stand up for what you fucking believe in and just be on that hill. Die on that hill. If you're not going to die on the hill for it, you don't care. So what does it matter?
Interesting point.
Like I just feel like that people are always talking about how like eventually we're not going to be able to say anything. It's like there's a handful of words I can think of that over time people are like, these are problem words.
Say them all right now.
No. I don't know. I
understand what you're saying.
I feel like I'm extra sensitive about this because I feel like there's so many weak people out there that are just sitting there and kind of throwing insults and throwing all this stuff at nothing because they are upset that they don't have a place to talk and they don't have a place to put their opinions out there where people are listening to them.
That is the outrage culture in general, right? On both sides. Right? Or is there people out there that don't feel that they're maybe not connecting and they don't know how to react to that, and so that's what they do?
I think with the internet now, that's harder than ever to not find a group that you can identify with. I mean,
Right,
like, there
but
are so many different groups.
I think a lot
and
of
so
people
many different
derive
niches.
validation from saying this is going to be my new crusade, right?
Sure.
Or at least that's the common thread when you go on Twitter and you see people like the thing that a lot of people were talking about over the last week was the hoop earring thing. Did you guys hear about this?
No.
There was an article that Joe Rogan retweeted it where it was saying that white women aren't allowed to wear hoop earrings because they're appropriating them from Latino culture, right? And so that was an argument that were people having, but it was like it's things like that make you wonder. It's like, is this what we should be collectively spending our time arguing about, or is this just people who don't know where that displaced rage is coming from and need to put it somewhere, right? And I think that's a lot of Twitter and a lot of the internet is I'm angry, I don't know if I can control something in my life, so maybe I'll just go here because I know I can fuck with this person.
I
right?
guess there are those people. In my opinion, when those articles come up and your gut reaction is this is fucking ridiculous, there's a discussion there that if you were to listen to the discussion and look at the different sides, you'll have an opinion on the situation. And it's up to you to have your opinion, whether you agree with side A or side B.
Or maybe it's just so easy to be like, I don't like that you're doing something, and just by me saying that you're not allowed to do that, you can't do it anymore. And that's unfair.
That's the thing. There's never a point that they can't do it. They still can. They just need to
whether or
stand
not
up
they
for it
decided-
and just do it. Someone else can tell me they can't, but they still can.
That's easier said than done when there's an outwave, like a giant wave of hate coming
Then
at
those
you for
people
not
are the
doing
weak
that.
ones. Those people are the ones that are all talk where they're like we need to stand up for it. You're not standing up for it. Like if you're standing up for it, do it, and don't let the freedom of speech. Don't let the words hurt you. They're words.
Yeah. Good one. Good ending. Yeah,
I
I
was going
guess.
to say that this is it's a tough topic.
Yeah, no.
Let's talk
right?
about Spielberg now.
Well, I wanted to get it out before we do like 2 Star Wars topics back to back.
No, look, I think this is good, and again, like I'm obviously very passionate about this, but like you're right, like there are a lot of these discussions that have happened over the years. You can and there are words that have been taken out of the common vernacular that absolutely have the right, in my opinion, to have been taken out.
Yeah,
right, and that's just how that is progress.
The thing is, this discussion is progress.
Part of progress is diving deep into these issues, and I'm proud that I'm happy that we can do that from time to time.
100%.
Yeah, with them, of course, too. That's
And
the
that's
whole
the
point.
thing,
Yeah.
it's the Reddit thread of people reading different people's side. It's teaching me. It's an ever evolving thing of this changes over time.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything that we do and say, I regret things that I've said before, and then there's other things I stand by.
Yeah.
And I always will.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what, our thing always is, right? It kind of funny is the fact that what we say, we stand by. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is, I think, and if we don't, and you hear us backtrack on a show or whatever, or change our opinion later on, that's the conversation we have with the audience and with each other, obviously, in terms of keeping each other honest and moving on.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I'm going to keep saying goddamn for now.
Okay.
All right.
Playing Disney emoji phone?
Yes.
Disney to shoot a commercial.
Write that again. Tweeting about how. Morning show. Go ahead. I don't like that. Yes.
Disney hired us.
They did.